And let me start the recording. So guys, now this is the character. Like this is the LOD on the character that you can see. And now I'll show you like in my pipeline how to achieve these results very quickly. So this is like a original character. It started, it should be like a stylized character, but kind of the sculpting kind of took me over a bit. So I created a couple of maybe too much details. And this is like a final render from Arnold, okay? So this pipeline like totally excludes ZBrush, but you can still hear, you can still see that I'm getting like very nice LOD. Now I'll show you the geometry that I was rendering from. Okay, so what you think about this? This is the file that I rendered these snapshots. Okay. So I'll just try to hide this one. Now you can see this is my poly count. It's less than 6,000 polygons. Maybe it can be less. Now I'll just deselect this so that you can see like the face topology, the face amount. So you can see it significantly have the details on the face. However, you can see that these dense network does not actually go that dense on the body. And you can see that I have like a very, very few polygons on the body itself. Now I'll just click here and press 3 to subdivide. And I'll need to deselect. And now this is my final shape. Okay. So this method actually differs from what you learned so far, because it starts with the retopology and then we upres the retopo character, sculpt on it, and then just exporting the displacement in normal map and give it back to this very geometry. However, before I start to show you like this process, I'll just show you how I get this shape as well, because it will also kind of show you like the modeling and the blocking process itself. Yeah, okay, for that I'll start with a new file. So this is the script that I give you like at the beginning of the year. Now it was look like shitty back then, but now since you start to kind of get into the character production, then I'll just kind of run this script. So it's a new file. I'll just click here so you can open this script. I will upload it for you. Now I'll just press the numeric enter on the keyboard, or control enter if you don't have like a numeric enter, so control enter to execute the script. And now this is the thing that happened. So check here, you have like a low cam and high cam. And on the left viewport, I will just enable the wireframe on shaded. So now the script is working like as a very simple stuff. Now I have like the right camera controlling the movement of the left camera, and I have a proxy model which is automatically subdivided, moved 1,000 units away on the x-axis as well as the camera. And now it allows me to do a modeling process here and to control my final topology. Now, well, you can say, well, why should I fucking extrude when I can sculpt in ZBrush and so on and so forth? Well, there is a reason, because I guess you already encounter certain problems when you start doing like a, I don't know, fingers in ZBrush or a mouth hole in ZBrush, so on and so forth. But also when you're using sculpting tool, you don't get like shape very stylized. However, keep in mind that in this file, I'll not just block the character. I'll just do my final retopo for my character. So now you can see this cube is divided by the script, so that you have like starting point for the character. So this part should be a pelvis, and I'll just kind of now extrude this face. I'll just turn the anti-aliasing off. Okay, like this. So whatever. And now I'll just try. So now it looks like the script is falling apart. It's not about the script, it's about the Maya, so don't worry. So I'll extrude my leg, for example, like this. And I'll just add a division here, just to add a thing. Now don't you worry, I'll just kind of right-click, go for the vertex, and as soon as I move some of those vertices, my model will update. Okay. Now, I will add like a couple of divisions here. So maybe somewhere here. And go for the edge, for example. I'll just delete it at this stage. Now, here I'll just kind of add a basic setup. I'll just extrude this. And I'll just here go for the torso. And for the arm. Sorry, I just made a fuck up. I hope it won't crash. So I'll just try to extrude this one. Okay. And I'll just delete these faces. And now, as you can see, I did my basic blocking for the body. You know, say ho ho ho. That's just it's not a blocking. But actually, I'll add a couple of subdivisions now. Okay. Now you can see a couple of things now. With the very few shapes, I'm actually, and by clicking a very few points, I'm controlling very flexibly the silhouette of my character in a very controllable fashion. Now, in terms of retopology, now you can see that I'm having like my polygons very equally distributed. So when you do manual retopo, even with the quadro tools, you can't get these polygons distributed like this manually. So now it's kind of saving my time. Now I can really play around with it. Now I can control the shape very nicely. Okay, like so, or like so. Which is kind of a bit hard to do in a ZBrush. Or it's not, but it's most definitely more time consuming. So Shift Control click, 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 enter. And now I'll just do this. Now you can tell even at this stage, if I'm not doing anything more than this one, I'm getting this like pretty much faster than I did it in the ZBrush. And most likely I can export this geometry as a startup for my blocking in ZBrush. Okay. So why I'm showing you this method, so far, I don't think that much about the retopology, but I can see my actually final flow. But I can focus more now on my shape, on the silhouette. And I don't know, you can kind of argue with me, but I can tell that I'm at this stage of blocking and everything else, I'm progressing much faster than a ZBrush and kind of getting a greater level of control. Sorry. Greater level of control. Oh, fuck, I need to restart my butt. Whatever. Like, fuck you. Okay, so escape, file, fucking save scene as. Desktop. Yeah, I'll say just kind of body, block. Okay. No, I'm still having an issue. F8, F8, okay. Try to avoid to restart the Maya. No, unfortunately, I need to restart the Maya. I'll just kind of pause the recording. So instead of doing all these kind of things like blocking, polygrouping, remeshing, whatever, I'm already halfway done with my character. Like halfway done. Okay. But I'm telling you, even if I'm entering like the into ZBrush with this model at this stage, I'm already have like better and more control result than most of you like did in a less time. Okay. Now I'll add a couple of edges here. And I can also focusing on achieving like more dynamic shape with just a few freaking clicks. Okay. Now I'm doing like a lot of things in the same time. But my opinion, in this way, I'm kind of controlling process like far more better. Okay, so now I created like a cut here, and you can see that now I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say I'm having angan. But it really does not concern me at this stage because on the left side, I'm just having like a freaking perfect quads. Okay. So one more thing I really don't have to think about, okay, at this stage as well. Okay. I can just focus on my shape, and you can see how precise I am, how fast I am. However, I can maybe add some other stuff here and actually kind of get this kind of done pretty nicely. Okay. And also, you can tell that I'm shaping like my blocking, my silhouette, my anatomy quite nicely. Now I can also maybe add something here to define this capital thing. Okay, so maybe only just one word like this. Now you can see how these loops are kind of help me orient myself, how they can help me to create a dynamic shape and to define the flow. And most likely when I'm doing the manual retopo, I will do it like with that less polygons and to define like flow successfully like this. So man, I'm already doing great except this butt because it's kind of, well, let's do something about this butt. Just press enter. Now, okay, so I can play around with this a bit more. So maybe to add some extra work on these hips. But you can see this is already, let's say, a nice and dynamic shape. Maybe I can add some more details on this butt, maybe not, whatever. So let's try to add this one. Okay, and then just try to do something like this and move this like further out. I can also smooth this one so that I can see how kind of going to look in a final subdivision stage. But actually, I'll just kind of press one because it's killing my computer. But you can see I'm also like getting the flow here. Now I'm having an angle here, but as you can see, it's totally cool on the left side. So I can experiment with my topology as well, like by adding or dividing. Not, I don't like this, and so on and so forth. So maybe I'll leave it like this so far. And you can tell just with the time how I'm getting like really much with just a few moves of vertices. Okay, now maybe I can make this spine more inwards to make, now that is a shape. Okay. Now you can see, you can really kind of see how you're going to control this one. Now I can show you a couple of other stuff maybe. So I'll just kind of go like this. Okay. Now I have like a really nice detail on the knee. Like so maybe. Here as well. I mean, it's not perfect, but in terms of the overall anatomy and the flow for the knee, you can tell I have like perfect thing to work with. And I just kind of cut it the way I wanted. Now I have like this perfect topology here for this kind of shape. So I can really play around with that and so on and so forth. So now you should also be aware of this. Now I'll just kind of make this kind of smaller here. And I mean, maybe I kind of nailed it like too much, but now you can see that I'm kind of really having like a lot of capability with just kind of tiny little moves. I'm kind of defining and pretty much getting what I want here, okay? So now I can maybe play around with it even further. Okay. Now I'm starting to getting like this rib cage thingy. Now I can play with this shape to get the chest. Or maybe, I mean, I don't have to do it like detail like that because I will actually add this detail later. But so far, just you can see what I can actually do with this. So maybe now I'll just kind of recreate this a bit in a bit different way. So I'll just kind of get this one like so. Because I'll maybe need an extra detail here, and most likely I'll just kind of remove this edge and actually go like this. Okay, so it goes like this. Now I'm having like this abdominal muscles kind of defined. Maybe not fully defined, but I have like a good edge flow for these guys as well. And maybe I can like put this thing that will kind of define the chest muscles, maybe outward and inward. And with this one, now I can really play around with this. Or I'll just save it. So I can achieve more with less, okay? Now, maybe for this one, I can actually delete this thing. Actually try to add some additional loop around this, but I really don't want to do that. So now, I hope so far you get the potential of this option, and you can see now these corrections that I'm doing, like about the distance of these polygons, is kind of really hard to do it like with the quadro tool. Even when you use the smoothing, you will not kind of control them like in this fashion. But there is a way that I can tweak this a bit more and so on and so forth. But let's say I don't want to do that right now, okay? But I guess you can tell how I kind of did this body for this alien dude and so on and so forth. So maybe I'll put like maybe this edge a bit inward and so on and so forth. Okay. Maybe this one I'll just put like something like this. And maybe at this stage I can really go like this. Now, what about the head? Now, you can tell that if I start or continue to using this method to actually shape the head, it will be tough. It will kind of most unlikely that I'm getting like the things that you're getting in ZBrush. Okay, and for that you're like absolutely right. But I'll show you like the method for the head. And for that, I can tell that the head for the model that I showed you, I actually created not in ZBrush but in Sculptris, because it just kind of give me quite enough control to accomplish what I want. And let's say I'm good with this one. And now I'll just pretend that I'm kind of going to export or import a high poly head here in Maya. I'll just try to tweak. Oh, come on, tweak this stuff a bit further. To make it even more dynamic. Try to maybe experiment with this. So maybe like this. Also here, this vertex, I can move it like this and get inwards. Okay. So you see, I'm getting like total crap on the right side, but on the left side, things did not look that bad. Okay. So kind of nice, yeah. Now I can play around with this, but I may be dissatisfied with this kind of anathema here, so maybe I can kind of create this. Let me save this, Control S, and so maybe I can add an extra loop here or whatever. So, but it kind of gives me control to play around with it. So it's really not that important at this stage. I mean, it takes a bit effort, but then again, the results are kind of very like controllable, and you get around pretty quickly with the blocking. So I guess that you can perhaps see the potential in it. And these are actually, I don't know, quite hard things to do, like with sculpting. Now it's a very tiny little move or of a single vertex, but the dynamic of the form that you're getting is a priceless. I kind of have a lousy job on the legs. And these knees are kind of too maybe big, and maybe I need to make this legs longer, and actually this knee needs to go like freaking higher. So this is kind of do this in ZBrush. It's kind of going to mess with your sculpting and everything. So just gonna try to do it like so. And also now I can really maybe kind of try to experiment with this proportion here, and most likely I will need an extra loop here in the middle where I'm just going to kind of have like a bit of a more dynamics on the legs here. Now I'm pretty much playing with it, and actually I really decide how I'm going to shape my edge flow with this one. Now it's a bit better. Okay, cool. Now I add some things here. Also, maybe I need to tighten up these flows here and here and here, and actually maybe to just play around with this elbow thing. So to add a bit of a more of a dynamic shape here. So I'll just save it and maybe I'll try to do like exact same thing that I did with the knee to maybe get some extra geometry on the elbow if I need it, but then again, I don't have to. Okay. Now it took some time, but I was actually playing, and keep in mind that I'm actually now doing a couple of processes. I'm doing like actually a couple of processes at once. I'm doing my retopology and I'm doing like my blocking at the same time. Okay, I'll save at this stage. And I'll just show you how to create a fingers and a head. Now it's a bit of a different concept, but you save a lot of that. You kind of made a fuck up with topology for the hand and so on and so forth. Now this will kind of also going to be like a very, very cool method to do this. So I'll just save scene, and then I'll just try to reload it because I don't know, my might just get buggy. Now that's way better. So now, guys, you can see the anatomy that I come up with, the blocking, and so on and so forth. Now, I need to do like hands or palms and fingers. So I'll just kind of go for the face, and then just extrude face. Okay. I'll add just not here. Okay. So I need to do it manually, but whatever. Now, I'll add a couple of divisions here on wrists, most definitely. And I'll just kind of going to add like a divisions for the fingers. Now, now you can see now I'm getting like the star shape, so my polygons are not looping around, and I'm having like an angle here. But so far the hand topology, even at this stage, look decent, and I already have like all freaking quads. So I'll just show you like just going to extrude these guys, keep faces together off. I'm maybe going to make this a bit smaller, and then just try to extract the fingers with a couple of divisions here. Okay. Kebab. Okay. Now, I'll leave this at this stage, but so far, now, how many times did you spend like doing the fingers in ZBrush? Did you do it like quickly? Because I can tell like Stefan had a problem with the fingers because they're just sketched. It didn't kind of, they weren't quite there. Okay, now so I'll just kind of try to make this like a bit like so. Okay. Now, and here now I'll just kind of try to solve the thumb. Okay. So I'll just try to add a couple of one division here. So control fucking click. Okay, and then I should try to do something like this with a division here. And so far, if you want to avoid this star shape, then we can just divide this edge like so. It's still an angle, but you can see this kind of topology in the palm. It's already looks nice. Okay, so now here I'll just maybe add a split like so. Well, what you say about this? And I will get like extra detail for a thumb here. Wow. So I'm not going to go with the details on fingers, but you can see that I'm controlling this stuff like very nicely, even at this stage. Okay. Okay. So I can play around with this, even though it's going to make my life hell, but whatever. Now you can see it so far, and also now I can also play with this stuff like so. Okay, so I didn't have to go with the loops all the way around the body. So I'll just undo. Let's say I'm happy with the one that I previously had. So now, as you can see, I solved the hand topology very, very elegantly without having a trouble to think about it. Okay. And this is quite nice. So let's move to the head. Okay. Since I'm already dead, I can take off my head to recite Shakespearean quotations. Cool. Guys, please give me the proof of life.
We're still there. Yeah.
Okay. So now let's say that I'm having a head that I did in a ZBrush. I put like a lot of effort and a lot of allowed into it, and now I'm just going to import a high poly ZBrush geometry in it, even though I didn't have it, but I have like the next best thing, like content browser, and I'll use this dude. Object mode, so I'll just scale it like 0.01. Oh my god, he swallowed his own head. Whatever. Now, so I don't know, I kind of having like a better result with my resources like this, but whatever. But you're getting the point. So let's say, okay, like this is a hat I did like from ZBrush. But keep in mind, the technique that I'm going to show you can be also now applied if you import a whole model from the ZBrush. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I tried to ask you.
Yeah. So now let's see what we're going to do here. Now I'm just going to position this hat a bit better and maybe scale it like slightly proportionally. Okay, well, not like that. I cannot move it like that. So let's say I'm good with this one. I really like, but I don't know, in a proportion. Now the head is kind of too little, so I really need to increase it like a bit. So I guess like this will be like a bit more natural when it comes to overall proportion. Now I need to put some extra effort on the lag as well, so it really bothers me, but okay, we deal with that later. Okay, now I'll just select this head, and I'll click on it here and make the selected object live. So now when I do this, I'll just kind of enter this kind of mode, and you can see if I try to move vertex, it will slide on this surface. Okay, so it will snap immediately to this surface. Now, instead of doing this, I'll just press fucking F8. So function F8 in my case, and one more time. Now, instead of doing this, I'll just go and use a quadro tool. And now, as you can see, I can add my loops here and tweak my mesh, which will be kind of most definitely snapped to this surface, okay? So I'll move this like all the way up. Now I'm kind of losing the symmetry here, but actually you can see the script, it does not care about that. So we have like things, I'll just kind of add a point accidentally, so I need to clear the dots. So you can see we are getting like a very good result. And as I'm adding like the details here, now it will snap even more. Now in this case, I'll need just to kind of use a this tool, and then I can continue with the quadro tool. So, and maybe I'll just put these vertices like a bit outwards. Maybe I can press shift to smooth them, and so on and so forth. So now you're getting like, now actually in a way of classic topology, you can see you just need to use like a quadro tool on the head and not like in full, because now you'll have like a lot less work to do, because guys, you can see the left side is still working for you. It's still working for you. So like clear dots, sorry. And clear dots one more time. So I'll just kind of actually try to raise this up. And in terms of really doing like a retopology here, you know why it does not, okay, because of this one. In terms of doing like a real retopology here, you'll just need to focus on the head. And I say partially. Now, I'll just kind of add maybe another loop here. And I'll just need to have like a quadro tool here on the neck. Okay, like this is quite nice. I'll just go to the quadro tool one more time, maybe do some smoothing here with the shift. And maybe also try, what the fuck, okay. So maybe I'll also try maybe, okay, to move this vertices or whatever here, which is kind of nice. Now, I will not model the whole face. However, I'll show you how you can improve the head that you might did in the ZBrush, okay? And you have like very low detail, but sometimes very high detail, but actually sometimes it's not about just transferring details. Sometimes it can get messy, like to organize yourself in a ZBrush, and especially to kind of organize the eye hole and the mouth hole, okay? And I'll show you how to actually play around with this topology and try to utilize it the best way that you can. So this is, now I'm just going to demonstrate how you can kind of shape this a bit better. Okay, and have like maybe this stuff equalized. Even though on the right side, when I kind of finish everything, I can maybe reduce poly count as well. Okay. Cool. I just want to make this divisions to be like more equal. like so. Okay. Oh. Now for the next couple of stages, I'm just going to actually use different stuff. So I'll just switch to the multi-cut tool, and actually I'll just try to divide something like this. So I told you I don't care, because now you can see this script doing like, or subdivision just doing like a very cool job for me. So I can kind of, I don't have to take this loop all the way down. But it also helped me to now have like a denser mesh on the head, but actually don't extend more loops on the body as well. Okay. Now I'll just make the eye sockets and like, let's say, the mouth hole. So these are like the very basic pattern. Okay, so no, I'll still stay in the quadro tool. And actually just try to make this kind of a lot smaller, and sorry, position it where it should be. So you can also see how we're going to get like a very regular kind of shaped loops here around the mouth. And I can see what kind of looks chaotic and messy. Now it starts to get like real controllable at this stage, as you might notice. Now I need to divide this kind of nose shape. So let's do it like so. And I'm kind of afraid I need to do this as well. Okay. Now you can see that I'm automatically in the slide mode, regardless of what I have here. And maybe I'll just kind of, I don't have to be in the quadro tool to slide, because now when this object is alive, the vertices are actually automatically sliding. Okay. So you can tell now, even at this stage, that I can actually now controlling the stuff quite nicely. And maybe I can just add a bit of a more kind of detail here, okay, for the eyebrows. And also maybe extend this guy's like here. Okay, so most likely I'll need to smooth this one out and so on and so forth, but eventually you can see that I'm only pretty good there with what I want here. Now I need to have like some extra work around the nose and around the eyes. Okay, so I'll just kind of need, oh, like, fuck you. Okay. Okay. Getting quite laggy, but whatever. Now I'm getting like these things done. Now you can see it's a proper thing. Now in most of the cases, I will need, let's say, an extra division here. And in order to maybe get these loops for the eyes done in a proper way, okay, now I'm just going to switch to quadro. Now that's nice, and I can also maybe add an extra loop here around the mouth hole. Okay. And that's pretty much everything. Now, in this case, now I'll just kind of turn off like make live thing, and I'll just hide this head, because let's say I don't need it anymore. So I'll just now kind of start to work with this one. Now, guys, let's say I kind of pretty much adjusted, even though I didn't. There should be quite a bit more work on this one. But now I'm just going to try to extrude these guys and actually now scale it a bit. Okay, like so. And maybe scale it even more. Now, and I'll just delete those faces, these faces actually. Voila. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to select these faces and I'll just extrude it. And just press G and maybe extrude it inner, like more. And then G and extrude it inner, like more. And maybe G one more time. Okay, and then what the fuck? I didn't know to do this. I'd rather go for something like this. Okay. And actually, guys, now I'm just going to select these inner faces and delete this. Just, I mean, most likely that I should kind of correct the vertices of this geometry, but I'm a bit of in a hurry just to show you. But it's like now I made a mouth hole here, which is like uber cool. So, which is sometimes hard to sculpt. And also, like, let us add a special dedication here for the eye. Now, extrude face. Now I'll just try to make a tiny little offset here, like 0.2. Oh fuck. Oh, 0.02. Okay, nice. Okay. And also I'll just extrude face. Now put it like so, to just shape this part around the eye, which can also sometimes can be like very time consuming to do in a ZBrush. Let me do it like so. And now I can shape like the eyelids. Now it gives me like a opportunity like to add let's say infinite amount of loops here. Come on, come on, come on. And I'll just maybe add like an inner loop here. Okay. And then what this allows me, it allows me to select the upper part of faces and extrude the eyelid. Okay. So let me do it like so. So I can kind of choose extrude face and then extrude the eyelid. Now, for example, if I add a sphere here, which I made live, I can also W, because I want to move it like around the row position X. Okay, let's zoom this, press F. Okay. Now, and I'll just go and move these edges. Now, I would really love to select like this particular edge here that Maya kind of fucking constantly avoid to fucking select. And it's kind of maybe happened because I'm old, or it happened all the time, but actually now I'll deselect all. Press 4. Now fucking this one, you stupid Autodesk engineers. And now fucking this one. So now you can see, I can just scale this a bit, I guess. Now, and you can see, now I created an eyelid. And since my laptop is kind of really slow, but you can tell that you can repeat this procedure for the bottom eyelid. Now, it looks like a oligophrenic guy or something like this. Now it needs to have like a bit more effort. Now, but in a way, now you can tell. Now I can also maybe go, and since I achieved this, now here, just to show you here as well, like face, extrude face. Now we can actually achieve this one, and just press G, and then kind of go like this. Okay, so then you can kind of start to add detail around the nose and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to get too much into this, like modeling the ear. I will also kind of let you figure out itself on your own. Now here maybe we can kind of just maybe add some additional geometry just to make this thing on the head like a bit more nicely shaped, like here, or I don't know, like here, whatever. It really depends. Now you can play around with it to make it like more neat and more clean, but here, just for a basic concept, now you can see now that you can really something happen with his nose. But okay, I'll just try to figure it out like so. Okay, I guess it's all right. Vertex. I'll just move one of the vertices just to get into normal. Let's see. Now we are really like it and kind of I don't know, edge. Now I should really put like a bit of more effort into this one. I really did like a lousy job, but in a way it really doesn't matter. Now you just get the mouth hole and everything there. Okay, so maybe in this stage, I can just maybe select this and maybe make it a bit larger. Oh my goodness, maybe just a bit smaller. Okay. And maybe I can really play around like what is important, because we don't want to kind of do this like in a sculpting software, but it's an essential sometimes just to get this mandibular bone here emphasized, or kind of the jaw or whatever, so that you can maybe add some extra detail here. Okay. Just to have it in topology there, and maybe I can connect this one just to kind of give me like a bit of a nicer shape here, and so on and so forth. And maybe I'll just kind of go and do, I don't know, something like this, and then just put it inwards. But it's ugly and it's too much, but I'll see about this later. So you really need to play around with this. And sometimes when I finish like all this on the right side, I just kind of go here and kind of do a manual cleaning of the edges that maybe I don't need, such as this one, and some edge here, and so on. So just keep that in mind as well. But just don't do this at this stage. So now let's say I'm pretty satisfied with this one. Even though I'm not, but whatever. Now, okay, so I need to also do some work around on the hands. So something to get it like more proportional, maybe better oriented, like so. Now you can see this type of adjustment is very, very hard to kind of create with the sculpt tools. Okay. You know, maybe I'll just do like this one here. So, this one, I'm going to see. Oh, it's more natural like this. Let's do a foot very quickly. Okay. So I'll just kind of do it like this. nicely. As simple as that. Okay, so just let me shape it like a bit better. Maybe I can do some, I don't know, extra, this one, whatever. Now I'll just play around with it, even though I can kind of add more stuff to it, but yeah, okay. So I'll just extrude this and maybe just kind of scale it just a bit so that you can see what you actually get, and maybe just play around with this one. So it really depends how you want to shape it and so on and so forth. Uh, now, but you can tell it that you can kind of really kind of control it in a way. Okay. Now maybe we can add a bit of a more here. And you can also like play around, maybe create an ankle here, whatever. Maybe put it downwards. And here as well. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Okay. Even though it's not anatomically correct, I'm just kind of like, fuck you, Maya. I think it's going to crash. You like a million times. Okay. I'll just pause the recording here. So I will not kind of bother much with the with the ankle and that kind of stuff. So let's say I'm kind of good with this one. Even though I can do it like with the last topology, I'm not quite satisfied with this polygon that I get here. But that's a good thing. Now, okay, let's say I'm good with it. So I'll just select this one, or actually, let's say this one. Now, since the script written is to kind of move this like 1,000 units away, maybe I want this to be in the center of my coordinate system. Now, for this one, I actually need to do the UVs. So if you don't do the UVs on this one, then you are totally like fucked up. So I'll just show you like, sorry, 1,000. So now I'll show you like the way that you can do UVs. And you can do UVs on this model, but also since you have like less faces here, maybe you can do the UVs on this model as well. So for example, and there is also advantage to this one as well. So now I'll just select this part, okay, like this one. Okay, and now I'm going to do the UVs on this one. So for example, I'll just kind of go the UV and choose a cylindrical mapping. We'll say, what the fuck is this? But actually, now I'll just here projection center of I will just move it like to 0. Now you can see how this is unfolded, like almost perfect. And if I click here, you can see it's unfolded here as well. However, I have like a fuck up here, but like let me try to move these vertices to see. Okay, nicely. So now here, I'll just select the object mode now. So I'll just move this UV shell. And I'll just let me try to go to faces here, and I'll just select these as a faces. And I'll just go with the faces here and just invert the selection. Okay, now I'll just deselect all. Maybe I should kind of put like I was fucked up with this first selection, so I'm just going to redo that one as well. But now for this hat, here, I'm just going to add a UV and use a spherical projection. Okay. Now I'll see my UVs and they look like crappy as well. But also when I move my X value to 1, that will be kind of a bit better. Now, and I'll just press W and maybe move this like for a different tuning. I'll just do the layout later. Now I'll select these spaces and actually going to add to this selection. So like so. And I'll just do the cylindrical UV one more time and then just try to also place it in the 0. Now you can see this is looking cool. Now, most likely for this mouth hole, I will need to kind of separate this shell. So now I'm just going to grow this selection. And maybe one more time. Well, I'm not going to go a bit further because I want this kind of inner part of the shape to be like different. Okay. And then I'll do the spherical on this one and just type the 0 here as well. And press enter. Okay, so I'll move it further away. Oopsie. Now, sorry. Okay, now I have like the leg shape. Okay, so just let me select this one, not this one. And actually now I'll just select inverse. Control, like deselect everything else. And I'm just going to deselect the foot here. I'm just going to do the cylindrical thingy. Okay. Now I'm not getting anything by moving it. Like maybe I'll just unfold it later. So I'll just press S and kind of put this here, and so on and so forth. Now, if you take a look at here, now I have like this kind of split it like a bit strangely. So maybe I can divide these edges manually, but just to see that actually now I'm going to select this shape. Like so, then grow selection, grow, press G, okay, and I'll do the cylindrical on that one. Now it will be totally fucked up. Now I'm just going to go here to this T sign, like, and actually rotate this guy, like, so I can tell it's a Z, so 90 degrees on Z, and maybe I'll just kind of scale this up to get like a bit of a better unfoldment. And okay, this is like nice. And I have a couple of these which you don't know what it is. So yeah, so on this one I'll just do the planar mapping from top, and so UV planar y-axis project. Okay, and then I don't know what this is. I'll just press F to locate this. Okay, this is cool. I'll just kind of repeat it one more time. Planar from Y. Okay, and then I'll just kind of create a new UV set by actually select this one. Javi se kada samo držim čas. And I'll just kind of do one more time planar from Y. Okay, now, and I pretty much unfold like everything. Sorry, pretty much unfold everything from here. Now, so so actually now you can tell. Now I'll select this model to see what I'm having like with UVs on that one. Okay. Well, that looks kind of odd. So you can see pretty much I unfolded everything. Now, if I go here, you can see that I'm having everything unfolded because now the UVs are overlapped. So if I kind of go for the UV shelf here and press W and move it, you can see that I have like, because now this model has been duplicated, I have my UVs unfolded. So I can, in general, select all these UV shelves. I really have to leave. Okay, Daniel, I'm kind of recording the lecture, so you'll get everything there. So now I can just go here and kind of go like modify and choose the layout option, and actually I can create like, I don't know, one by one, but maybe I can kind of say like 4 by 4 UDIMs, and I'll just kind of fix non-manifold geometry. Okay, and I'll just try to fold this if my kind of, and now I'll make like these. Now most likely for these red guys, I'll need to flip my UVs manually. So I'll transform now. Where's the flipping option? Panning all, pick blah blah blah, transform. Okay, modify. Where's the flip UVs? So horizontal. Okay, and then I'll just press G. I mean, you can tell I actually now I need to flip this, or maybe not. No, yeah. Okay, I didn't unfold this one. So the hands are actually overlapped. So because I kind of mapped them, so I really should kind of make the splitting edge, but it's not important. I have like all the bad scales here on these, on these, on these. Let me just press 3 on these feet. Sorry, and actually I really don't care about this right now. But you can see you can do the UVs on the half of the model and then just unfold them like later. Okay, even though it's really not important at this stage. Just to kind of give you a hint about the workflow. Now I'll just move it to the 0, and now I'll just save this like save scene. And now at this stage, I'm just going to oppress this and sculpt on it. Okay. Now guys, I'll just kind of go here and choose a sand to mudbox. Okay, and I'll just kind of like, I'll just try to select this, my model number 2, and okay, send to mudbox, send as new scene. Now, if you don't have like same version of Maya and Mudbox, you can just kind of export this as an OBJ and import into Mudbox application. But at this stage, you can really export to ZBrush if you like, or whatever. Now the Maya will kind of trigger up the Mudbox application, and then afterwards it's going to actually send this model directly into the Mudbox. Now you can see this tiny green thing with the update. It means that the direct link between Mudbox and Maya will be created. So I'll just keep all, because it says it has an errors, and it means on this kind of part of geometry. So now you can see I have my object in Mudbox, and here I'll just use select move tools and actually select, sorry, I need to select the object and delete this object because I really don't need it anymore. So first shortcut for you to know is W to present like the wireframe. And now I'll just kind of go back to sculpt tools, and first tool that I'm going to use is a grab tool. Now, these are pretty much similar like the sculpt tools in Maya, so I can change the proportion if I want to. And I can also do like minor tweaks, like here and here. But in a way to add a detail, apart from Maya sculpting, actually, now this is the second shortcut that you need to know is the Shift D. Now I can subdivide the surface. Now you can see I'm kind of having the level 1. And now I have like a bit more of detail to work with. So now I'll just try to maybe use a knife tool here, like B is for brush scaling and M is for intensity scaling. So pretty like in Maya, or you can press space. So this is, so you can, from this marking menu, you can trigger on this icon here the diameter or radius of the brush, and on this other, the strength. Okay. So, whoa, not quite what I have in mind. Can I reset the tool? Okay, I don't know, but it does not perform the way I want to. So yeah, maybe just tiny. Man, what happened with this tool? I kind of fucked it up, like more size strength, use stamp image, or maybe not. I don't want to use stamp image, or maybe it has like a different stamp. Really can't. No, I don't want to do this. So my scale is too large. Okay, strength. Okay, so I'll just try to tweak this later. But actually now I just want to show you. Let's try to do like the sculpt tool. Okay, that will be recorded. Oh my goodness. So M to like, and now you can see you can add a detail here, just pretty much. So if I add like Shift D, it's like a level 2. So I can sculpt like this. So I can use a stamp here, like so. Sorry, like so. Now, if I add more detail by pressing Shift D, I can have like to sculpt like a very high detail here. Now, and I can move through level by using a page up and page down. This is like page down, so I'm at the level 1, 2, 3, 0, or whatever. 3. Now this is my highest level. If I press 4, I'll have like subdivided even further. And in this case, I'll just turn off the stamp, and I'll just try to. I really don't know like what happened with this tool, and maybe I'll just kind of use some other stamp, like I don't know. Okay, it really doesn't matter. So let's say I want to add some detail here, like so. So you can see I can really sculpt like this, and actually I can turn the symmetry off. Sorry, and I can sculpt like the way I'm sculpting in the ZBrush. So I don't know if I want to add like the abs or whatever. I can just kind of man, not boobs, the abs. I can just kind of maybe start with like so. Okay. Maybe I can flatten this. Sorry, flatten this a bit. So whatever. Smooth it. Okay, I don't know why this I kind of fucked it up, this tool, because I most likely deleted its original stamp that it was using. Let's try with this one, whatever. Okay. So, yeah, let's make a smaller brush. Let's make it a lot more strength. And now I can really kind of try to use it. Now I can shape this, or if I cannot kind of get this detail, I can add a new sculpt layer, for an example, and I can just kind of make this kind of let's say thingy. Now B, sorry, B, and I can just kind of shift smooth this like so. And maybe if it's too much for me, I can play with the transparency of this layer, okay? Or I can just turn it off to make a different stages with this one. Now I really don't know what I fucked up with this brush. Like this knife tool would kind of give me like a sharp line, but whatever. Now I'll just do it like the harder way. By default, you will kind of get right like really hard hard line. But now whatever. I'm just going to use it like this, and maybe I'll just smooth it. But in a way, you can see now I'm just sculpting. I'm just sculpting like. Can I reset the brush? I don't know. It's like really bugging me. It's not steady straight. So it really doesn't matter. Now you can see that now I'm kind of sculpting. Now I have like this pinch tool. So I can pinch it, and when I'm done, I'm actually going to say extract texture maps. And I'll just extract the normal displacement map, and I'm done with my character modeling. So I'm just upraising it here. I just want to tell you that so for an example, I can really use like the stamp. I can also use a stencils, so like so that I can kind of stamp use, and you can put your own images here. Now you can see Q is to turn off the stencil, and with the S I can scale. With the middle mouse button I can move. Like with the R I can rotate the stencil. Now maybe my model is going to crash. S, sorry, Q, whatever. But I'll just show you now. You can use this to actually add a detail, which will be baked either on the displacement or some other type of map. Now also, what was the subtool in ZBrush here, actually in Mudbox, you can sculpt the ear and make a subtool like and this is like a, let's say, a vector displacement map. Now you will see I'll just use the sculpt tool and I will add this thingy, and sorry, I'll just increase. Just going on here. So stamp off and stencil. I'll use this as a stencil. Okay, it just takes time to calculate. But you'll see now. After a couple of, maybe I should do on the lower geometry level. So let me do like page down. Maybe not on. Let's do it like on level 2, whatever. Okay, so I need for level 4. Oh no, this is like a my layer, my sculpt layer. Okay. Let me just close my. So, but you can get it like when I did like when I was did like this salient thingy. I was just kind of. Let me do that one more time. Let me add another layer and just try to work with that one as well. I actually didn't use any of these maps, so whatever. But what I wanted to say now, I just kind of go here now. If you can see, if you can see like sorry, I need to select this object. Now, if I select this object, then you can see maybe on level 0, just let me go there, page down. You can see that my UDIMs are here. So actually, when I go here with the UV maps and extra texture operation, then I can export normal and displacement map. And this is pretty much what I did with this alien guy. And I have like 16 UDIMs with 2K textures. Now, 16 UDIMs with 2K textures, and downloads. Okay, now, and you can see the level of, sorry, the level of detail that I actually got here. Like it's pretty impressive, and I know I really have like limited hardware resources, so it looks unintuitive. But in a way, this is the level of detail I came up with, and this level of detail has been transferred to the lowest poly geometry. So you can see here is written like if I increase like this in page up. Now I will transfer detail. I'll just kind of go one more thing to texture and maps. And displacement. Now I can choose from which level of detail I will bake high poly to my low poly detail. And actually I'll get like fully functional map, which I kind of choose like to have 8K map or whatever. Now I choose to have like 16 2K UDIMs, and it gives me like very cool level of detail. And this level of detail will be transferred to my 0 level of geometry. So I just need to again go to Maya and actually load it to Arnold or Redshift shader, and I'm done with everything. So I didn't have to Z remesh. I didn't have to do all that kind of shit, go back and forth, handling all this kind of stuff. I just finished my character sculpting. Now I need to do asset by asset, so I cannot deal like with, but I can do it like multiple assets in modules. But I don't have a need for that. But when it comes to basic body and the anatomy, this is like, for me, the way to go. Now, I'll just close up the lecture with this. I will just stop the recording. Now, when you go to this operation, extract texture maps, now you can just go for a displacement map and so on and so forth. So you need to actually say where you want to save your maps. And of course, just what I used like OpenEXR 32-bit float, both for the normal and for displacement map. Anyway, for the normal, maybe you can use the 8-bit, but I prefer to use the OpenEXR 32-bit flow. And at least for the displacement, try that as well. So it's a very cool, and this is how you get the result. Now I'll just stop recording.